Hi guys! Today I will be sharing how to make super gooey chocolate cake. For the ingredients, we need 1.5 teaspoon of vanilla, half a cup plus 1 tablespoon of Dutch processed cocoa powder, 2/3 cup or 134 grams of butter, 1 teaspoon of instant coffee, 3 eggs, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 and 3/4 cup of sugar, and 1 cup of plain flour. To begin, we're going to combine the flour and the salt, give it a quick mix, and then we will set this aside. In a pot or in a microwave, we're going to melt the butter. So I'm going to melt this butter using low heat. Once the butter is all melted, we can take this out of the heat. I'm going to use this pot to mix all the ingredients. Now I'm going to add the vanilla, followed by the instant coffee. When you add the instant coffee, it will curdle a little bit, so just be patient in mixing this, and soon it will combine with the butter. To this, we're going to add the sugar, and then we're going to sift in the Dutch processed cocoa powder. Then add the flour mixture. Just mix everything together. At first, you can see that the mixture is dry here. Just continue mixing until everything is well combined. At this point, we're going to set this aside. In a separate bowl, we're going to crack 3 eggs. By the way, your oven should be preheated at 180 degrees Celsius. Using a fork, whisk the egg. And then we're going to add the egg mixture into the cocoa flour mixture in 2 additions. Just do not overmix the batter. So once everything is well combined, we're going to place this in a springform pan. So this is now ready. So I have a springform pan lined with parchment paper, and then I grease the side with vegetable oil. Just put in the butter. And then we're going to bake this again in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 30 to 35 minutes. As for me, I bake this at about 35 minutes. Just do not over bake this. Just give it a tap to flatten the butter. After about 30 to 35 minutes, this is what the cake looks like. It is really important to let this cool down in the pan since the cake is very moist. It's very fragile. For me, I put this in the freezer for about an hour before trying to unmold this. So after about an hour in the freezer, I'm going to unmold this. Run a spatula or a knife on the side of the springform pan. This will just help us lift the cake easier. Do not attempt to lift this when it's still pretty warm because it will just fall apart. So just remove the parchment paper at the bottom. Be very careful. And now, I'm going to sprinkle some cocoa powder. This cocoa powder is just basic cocoa powder. It's not Dutch process. So this is about a tablespoon. So optional ingredients, I have whipped cream in here. I'm just piping on the top. You can serve this cake with ice cream or whipped cream. And just for some decoration, I have strawberries in here that I cut in halves. And this is the finished product. And just to show you what it looks like inside when you cut the cake. Again, the secret here is to not over bake the cake. The texture of this is just like brownies. And it's super gooey. This is actually a Swedish cake. As you can see, it is very moist and gooey. I hope you give this a try. It's so easy to make. And just for a little bit bigger cut. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!